It feels like only yesterday that Charlie Adams scored an unbelievable free kick to send Blackpool to the Premier League. The Seasiders would go on to be one of the most entertaining sides in Premier League history, but would unfortunately get relegated. The club would then suffer serious hardship, as terrible management of the club from the Oysten family would see the club drop all the way down to League 2. However, now the Seasiders are steadily mid-table in League 1 with Steve Bruce at the helm, and also had a brief stint back in the Championship. But I think now is the time to bring the good times back to the Seaside. So today we are jumping into FC25, taking charge of Blackpool FC with the ultimate end goal of winning them a Champions League trophy. And if you do enjoy the content, lads, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It does really help me out. 5,000 subscribers is incoming. But let's now jump into FC25 and get this Blackpool rebuild on the way. So this is the Blackpool team we've loaded into an FC25. On an initial glance, it's not actually too bad. Looks like a steady mid-table League 1 level side on paper. However, I'm not a fan of the 4-4-2 formation. This is definitely going to get changed. So I've had a play about with the formation and the personnel who will be starting games for us. We're going with a 4-4-1-1 formation. I feel like this gets all our best players into the team, and I do think we'll have better chances of getting results with the team that we've selected, and our bench also looks pretty capable as well. Now, there are some really good young players at Blackpool. Odell Offia is in on loan from Brighton. He's 21-year-old, 67 rated. He's someone we may look to sign permanently. Rob Apter is 21-year-old, 66 rated. He looks like a really decent right midfielder. And now we've also got Tom Bloxham, who's 64 rated and 20-year-old. If anyone watched my FC24 Shrewsbury rebuild, I'll be really impressed. And if you can tell me in the comment section down below what overall did we grow Tom Bloxham to in that save, you'll win an imaginary high five. Now, lads, I did want this to be a live start point career mode, but for some very strange reason, EA have only added live start points to the Premier League and Championship, meaning it's not available for League 1 and League 2. I'm not going to lie, lads, that's actually really disappointed me. Now, because we can't use the live start points feature, lads, and I wanted to use it, I'm actually going to ban transfers in Season 1, because if we had the live start point option, we'd currently be in March. The transfer window would not be open. I think it's only fair that in Season 1, without live start points, we're not allowed to sign players as well. Now, the way that I want to play with Blackpool is a fast counter-attacking system, playing a high defensive line. So the key to this is going to be a fast striker and fast wingers. Now, Blackpool's contract situation is a little bit worrying. Some of our star players are only in on loan, like Offia and Niall Ennis. Key first team players like Sonny Curry, Josh Onama and Jordan Gabriel are all out of contract in Season 1, along with quite a few other players. Sorting the contract situation out is definitely going to use up quite a bit of money. And Blackpool only actually start off with £2 million, which is actually a really small budget, so I think signing players permanently would have been a bit of an issue. But one thing that will not be an issue is sending out our youth scouts. And as always, we use your comments as to where we should be sending our youth scouts. And today we are going with this comment from Matty Harris. We'll be sending our youth scouts off to New Zealand for the first season, and we'll be looking for strikers, centre-backs and full-backs. Now, the start to this rebuild is a bit boring, as I've had to ban transfers to Season 1. Will I come to regret it? Who knows? We could potentially get relegated to League 2. And this rebuild is a little bit of a weird one for me, because as we all know, if you're familiar with my channel, I'm a massive Bolton Wanderers fan, and I would actually consider Blackpool as one of Bolton's biggest rivals, just due to historic events. Not our biggest rivals, but definitely up there with a lot of rivalry, and we actually play the Tangerines next weekend, which will be a game I'm actually attending. So if we do eventually reach a Champions League final with Blackpool, you may see me a little bit less enthusiastic to win it. Now, our starting 11 is locked in for season number 1. Our youth scouts are off scouting in New Zealand. We're going to get to work sorting out the contract situation at the club. I don't really think there's anything left we can do in season number 1 other than simulate forward straight through to the end of the season. I've got no idea where this Blackpool team are going to finish. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. So we've arrived at the end of season number 1, lads, and I'm actually really surprised at how we've done this season. We finished 3rd in League 1, securing a playoff game. We were 6 points off automatic promotion, where the 2 favourites, Birmingham and Huddersfield, would get promoted, and now we are just 3 games away from potentially playing Championship football in season number 2. And we will be playing Championship football, lads. We have beaten Rotherham United on penalties to secure promotion to the Championship at the first time of asking. I was not expecting this in season 1. I know we really need to work hard in the transfer window if we're going to keep Blackpool up. And we would also go on to get to the Bristol Street Motors Trophy final, but lose to MK Dons 3-2. They're actually in League 2. I actually think this is the hardest trophy to win in FC25, as we have never actually won it. So this is the Blackpool team that has got us promoted to the Championship, and it is looking strong. We've had loads of growth all across the pitch. Now, unfortunately, we will be losing Niall Ennis, as he's only in on loan. Offia Elliott is only in on loan as well at the centre-back position. We've got some real hard work to do in Season 2 when it comes to improving our team. We're going to need a striker, centre-back, probably a centre midfielder as well. I've got my eyes on a really promising young centre attacking midfielder. Hopefully the board give us a nice big budget and we can set about improving our team, because if we don't make the necessary improvements, we're definitely going to get relegated. Now, our youth scouts were sent to New Zealand, as we know, and our trip there wasn't really fruitful. We have got some okay players from our trip, but none are really good enough to go straight into the first team, and no one's really got insane potential. So in terms of stats, Niall Ennis was absolutely incredible, scoring 35 goals and getting 1 assist. He fired us to promotion this season, as our next best player was Sonny Curry, who got 15 goals and 12 assists. So a great Season 1 is in the history books. Let's get into Season 2, prepare for life in the Championship, and just hope and pray the board give us a really good budget. So we have arrived at the start of Season number 2, and we've got £9 million in the bank, which is a fantastic transfer budget for a newly promoted side. And we have a really big issue at the minute, because we don't actually have any goalkeepers at the club. I've stupidly let people's contracts run down. Tyra was only in on loan, so the main priority for me in this transfer window is getting a goalkeeper through the door, and I have got my eye on loaning in a few really talented young players. So lads, we have been very busy in the transfer market. We've made 3 cash signings, sold 2 players, and also loaned 2 players in. So let's kick things off with the loans, boys. Our first signing of the summer was Harrison Armstrong on a season-long loan from Everton. He's 18 years old, 65 rated, with excellent potential, and looks like a decent player as well. We have an optional future fee to sign him for £1.2 million at the end of the season, and we're going to throw him straight into our starting 11 and get him developing straight away. We then loaned in a centre-back, Aidan Haven from Manchester United. You may have seen him making his debut in real life. He is 66 rated, 18 years old, left-footed, and can also play left-back. Really good stats. Another really good youngster. We have an optional future fee to buy him for £1.7 million in 2 seasons time. I then felt like we were lacking in the attacking midfield position, so we signed Will Alves from Leicester City for £1.5 million. He's 20 years old, 66 rated, looks like a decent player and has good potential. Had a decent loan at Cardiff last season. I'm hoping he can carry that form over at Bloomfield Road. We then signed a goalkeeper, which was top of our priority list. Ewan Yawen has joined us for £2 million from Stade de Reims. He's 69 rated, 19 years old, 6'6", looks like a really decent young goalkeeper. Hopefully his shot stopping ability will keep us in the Championship. And now time for the marquee signing of season number 2. William Osula is in to replace Niall Ennis. He is 70 rated striker, 21 year old, and 6'4", with really good stats. Looks like a really powerful physical player. We've had to overpay for him as we signed him for £3.3 million, but I'm really excited to see how he does in a Tangerines shirt. Now, we did also sell Ashley Fletcher and Ollie Norburn, as they aren't really going to get any minutes this season. Ashley Fletcher, by the way, is a dirty traitor joining Preston North End. He'll get a really hostile reception when he comes back to Bloomfield Road this season. And with all our new signings in the team, this will be the team that takes us into season number 2. Now, on paper, it's definitely not the strongest, and we have 100% signed for the future. Only Osula and Yawen come in and make us stronger instantly, but I'm really not expecting us to be anywhere near the promotion picture this season, but I do feel like we've got an energetic squad that can definitely get points in the Championship, and our only goal of season number 2 is literally just Championship survival. We do have an okay bench and reserves as well, lads. We have got options if we get any injuries. Now, with all our transfer business concluded, we've only got 540 grand in the bank, and our contract situation is quite serious, lads. We've got a lot of players out of contract. I don't think there's going to be any more signings in season 2, and I honestly don't think we're going to be able to afford to send our youth scouts to New Zealand. Now, our starting 11 is locked in for season number 2. Don't think there's much more we can do other than simulate forward straight through to the end of the season. Let's just hope and pray Blackpool are still a Championship side come season 3. We've arrived at the end of season number 2, lads, and we've actually finished 10th in the Championship, which is a massive achievement for Blackpool Football Club. On 62 points, absolutely nowhere near the relegation zone. Our objectives were smashed. It's now all about nailing our next next batch of signings and trying to get promoted to the Premier League. Now, we forgot to check our progress in the FA Cup last season because I'm an absolute idiot, but this season we got to the 4th round and lost on penalties to Arsenal, pushing a member of the Big Six all the way. Again, really impressive how we've played this season, and we have seen some really significant growth all across the pitch in our starting 11. Only Alves and Coulson are below 70 rated. This starting 11 has definitely got the foundations in place to push on for a playoff spot in season 3. We definitely need to sign a new left back to replace Coulson. Looking at the team, where do I actually want to improve it again? I think I want to bring another centre back in to replace Casey, who can develop at the same speed our other players are. Casey is 25-year-old, 72 rated, never going to be a Premier League standard starter. If we can nail a left back and centre back signing, leave the rest of our young squad to grow, I don't see any reason why we can't finish in the playoffs in season 3. So at the end of the season, we'll be saying goodbye to Lee Evans and Terry Bondo as we're not renewing their contracts. Bit of a shame because I know Bondo is actually a really talented player in real life. But this season, our best player was actually Rob Apter. He scored 17 times and got 3 assists. That's actually a really good return. William Osula was very good as well, getting 15 goals and 3 assists. And not many goals though from the rest of the squad, which we have to improve on in season number 3. So we've arrived in season number 3 and we've got £7 million in the bank. I did expect a bit of a lower transfer budget, but we can definitely work with 7 million. First order of business will be to make Harrison Armstrong's loan into a permanent deal. He is worth 3.2 million. We're going to sign him for just 1.1 million. And Armstrong is in. He signs a 5-year deal. Really excited to see how he grows in a Blackpool shirt. We've sold 3 players and made 2 permanent cash signings, and I think we're heading into season 3 very strong. Now, first things first, we had to bring in a new left back to replace Coulson, and we signed former Manchester United youngster Harry Amas for £1.8 million. We got a really good deal for him. He is 19 years old, 68 rated, showing great potential with very decent stats. Really confident he can be an endgame player for us in this rebuild, and he'll be starting in the left back position. And we made a brilliant signing in the centre back position as we raided Manchester City's academy for Abdoulaye Ba. He is 72 rated, 20-year-old, 6'5", showing great potential with brilliant stats. We signed him for just £2.9 million, £1.1 million below his market value. This is a signing I am really excited about. But to fund these deals, we did have to sell Jake Beasley, Josh Onoma and Hayden Coulson. We raised around £3 million, and that money helped us complete these signings. And with only £1 million left in the bank, there'll be no more transfer business done in season number 3. That is our business concluded for another season. And our starting 11 is officially locked in for season number 3. I see no reason at all why this starting 11 can push for at least a playoff spot in season 3. We've built a very strong, very young team in just 3 seasons, and I really do think we can build on a 10th place finish last season and push on, try and get promoted to the Premier League this season. And with that, I think there's nothing left we can do other than simulate forward straight through to the end of season 3, and we sneak into the Sky Bet Championship playoff. So we have arrived at the end of season number 3, lads, and I asked the players to get us into the playoffs this season, and they actually managed to do so, finishing 4th in the division on 90 points. However, Fulham and Leicester were leagues ahead of us in automatic promotion places, so we were firmly rooted into the playoffs. But the real question is, can we get promotion to the Premier League? We've already won 1 playoff campaign, and we have won the playoffs, boys. We have beaten Burnley 1-0 in the playoff final, and in season number 4, Blackpool are finally back in the Premier League for the first time since 2011. In the FA Cup, we managed to reach the 4th round but lost to Reading 3-2. That's really disappointing. I think we could have gone a lot further. So this is how the team is looking at the end of season 3. This will be the team that takes us into the Premier League. It's a very promising young team. No 180 rated, but players are growing at really nice rates. However, I do feel like signings are going to be absolutely necessary to keep us up. Now, the positions I'm going to look to strengthen are going to be the central midfield and right back position. Lyons and Curry have been great players in getting us to the Premier League, but Curry is 26 and 75 rated. Lyons is 26 and 74 rated. They're not going to get too much better, but they'll be really decent squad players for us in the Premier League. Now, there are some players in the team who are quite low rated for Premier League football, like Alves, Armstrong and Amas. class. The three really young players, and I'm going to give them another season to grow. If they don't grow much next season, we can always replace them in season 5. Now, in terms of stats, Will Osula was fantastic this season, getting 28 goals and 9 assists, but Rob Apter was by far our best player. He got 26 goals and 14 assists, followed by Curry getting 15 goals and 17 assists. So we really did improve our output in front of goal this season. Hopefully we can continue our goal scoring form in the Premier League. So we have arrived at the start of season 4 and we have got £40 million in the bank to improve our team heading into the Premier League season. I've already said a right back and centre mid are top of our priority list. I'm very confident with 40 million we can bring the right personnel in. Now, our first order of business of season number 4 will be to make Aidan Haven's loan deal into a permanent deal. He's 20-year-old, 75 rated. He is worth £10 million. We are going to buy him for just 2.35 million, which is an outstanding bit of business. And Haven is a permanent resident at Bloomfield Road, signing a 5-year deal. So after the signing of Haven, we went back out into the transfer market and made 3 new signings. I think we've done some excellent business with the 40 million we were given. Kicking things off, we did sign a new first choice right back, Hector Fort. Is 20-year-old, 74 rated, 6'1" with really decent physical and progressive stats. He's showing great potential. Probably not a Premier League standard player right now, but I'm willing to bet by the end of the season he'll be near 80 rated, and he is another big investment for the future. I then felt like we were lacking a little bit of depth on the bench, so we saw Kamaldeen Sulemana was available on a free contract. We have signed him on a 4-year deal. He's 25-year-old, 75 rated, got really good physical stats. He'll be a decent backup winger for us throughout our duration in the Premier League. And now time for our marquee signing of season number 4. We have brought in Oliver Arblaster from Sevilla for £22 million. He is 23-year-old, 79 rated, really good stats. Guy is absolutely mustard in real life, and he's going to be a pivotal part of our midfield going forward. And with our new signings added to the team, this will be the Blackpool team that takes us into season number 4. It's a squad that is full of really exciting young talent. I'm willing to bet some of these players will be 80 rated by the end of the season. We've actually got some decent options on the bench as well, like Curry, Leons and Sulemana. I'm aware the squad is not the strongest in the Premier League, but I do think we've got a chance of staying up, and that's all that matters. With just £2 million left in the bank, that'll be our business done. It's now time to renew some contracts, bring some coaches in, send our youth scouts back off to New Zealand, and let's see what money we have remaining. After completing those tasks, we're left with 817 grand in the bank. Don't think there's going to be any more incomings in this window. And there has been 2 outgoings in this transfer window, lads. Sold Zach Ashworth to Cardiff for 1.6 million. We've loaned out one of our young New Zealand academy graduates. Declan Saunders will spend a season in France. Now, our starting 11 is locked in for season number 4. I don't think there's anything left we can do but simulate forward straight through to the end of season number 4. Hopefully the Tangerine army are still in the Premier League come season 5. So we have arrived at the end of season number 4, lads, and we have stayed in the Premier League, finishing 14th in the league on 42 points, finishing 10 points above 18th place Fulham, meaning we have secured Premier League football once again for season 5. Now we can start setting our eyes on moving as far away from that relegation zone as possible. However, in the FA Cup, we would once again lose in the 4th round to Wolverhampton Wanderers 2-0. Really hoping we can put some kind of cup run together in season 5. So this is how the team is looking at the end of season number 4. We've now got 3 80 rated players in our team in Jowan, Arblaster and Apter. But as we can see, we've got a lot of players who will definitely become 80 rated very soon. It's really difficult for me to choose where we can improve the team next season because I don't actually know how much money we're going to have. Now, 14th in the Premier League, I'm thinking we're going to have around £25 million to improve this team. I'm pretty tempted to let Amas just keep growing. He's 21-year-old and 75 rated. Definitely going to be a very good player for us. One player who has really slowed down in terms of development though is Tom Bloxham. 24-year-old, 78 rated. He is a really good player, but I may look to bring a better left midfielder to the club next season, but again, it is really dependent how much money the board give us. Now, in terms of stats, our best player this season was William Osula, who got 19 goals and 4 assists. He's been a really big player for us, and obviously someone I'm looking to replace. Tom Bloxham had a good season as well, getting 11 goals and 4 assists. The rest of the team didn't really chip in many goals. I weren't really expecting us to bang the goals in this season though. Hopefully we can in season number 5. So we have arrived in season number 5 and we've been given £25 million. Now, I knew we weren't going to get a big transfer budget. Let's see what we can do with the money. Hopefully we can bring a new addition to the club. Now, you may notice, lads, that all of our money is gone. We've only got £2 million in the bank, which means there has been a signing. As we've discussed, we wanted to improve the left midfield position. I think we really have done so, as we have brought Antonito Cordero in from Boavista for £22 million. pounds. He is 78 rated, 21-year-old, really good stats and showing great potential. Much higher potential than Bloxham. Really excited to see how he develops at Bloomfield Road. He'll be our starting winger for season number 5. And we've actually got some really exciting youngsters in our youth academy finally from New Zealand. The pick of the bunch being Blake Bull. He's 61 rated, 15-year-old, 92 to 94 potential. As soon as he's 16, he'll go straight out on loan, and hopefully in a few seasons he'll be ready for a first team spot. And we have sorted out the contract situation at the club, lads. 4 players needed new contracts. We're left with 300 grand in the bank. Can't even afford to send our youth scouts out. I do think we've used our short budget really wisely with the signing of Cordero. So I think this summer we're going to keep things short and sweet. Our starting 11 is locked in for season number 5. We're already seeing growth. Haven's already reached 80 rated. I'm really confident come the end of the season most of this squad will be above 80 rated. There really isn't anything we can do now other than simulate forward straight through to the end of the season. Hopefully we show some progression on the pitch in season number 5. So we've arrived at the end of season number 5, lads, and hey, I think European football is coming to Bloomfield Road. We have finished 6th in the Premier League on 60 points. There was only actually 4 points off a Champions League place. Given our superior goal difference, we would have actually got Champions League as well. And this season's been a mad one. Nottingham Forest 5th, Wolves 2nd. Well, Nottingham Forest are going to get Champions League in real life. I'm really happy with our performance. A 6th place finish is excellent. Now we've got to start working towards getting in the Champions League. But we have been brought back down to earth with a bang as League 2 Leyton Orient knock us out the FA Cup on penalties in the 3rd round. I'm convinced we are just never going to have a good cup run in this rebuild. So this is how the team is looking at the end of season number 5, and it's really starting to take shape now. Every single player in the starting 11 besides Harry Amas is now above 80 rated. We've got some genuinely top level players in our team like Bar, Apter, Osula. Really excited to see how this team continues to grow over the seasons. Worth bearing in mind, by the way, this squad is very young and they've got a lot more room to develop. Our bench is strong as well. Definitely do have a backup striker next season, but it's completely dependent on how much money we get given by our board. If I'm honest, lads, I don't really know where to improve the team in season number 6. I do feel like if we want to get into the Champions League, we need a top goalkeeper. Jawan is a very good goalkeeper, but as you can see, is only growing by like 1 overall point a season. 23-year-old, 81 rated. Genuinely considering bringing a striker in off the free agents list and spending every single penny of our transfer budget bringing a world-class goalkeeper to the club. But at the end of the season, we'll be saying goodbye to Albie Morgan as we could not agree a new contract with him. Been a great servant to the club. It's time to say goodbye. And in terms of stats, William Osula was outstanding again this season, getting 26 goals and 4 assists. He's been such a good player for us. Armstrong, Alves and Apter all got double figures for goals, which we really like to see. Definitely starting to put the ball in the back of the net a lot more now. So we have arrived at the start of season 6, but we've only been given £39 million. This does throw a spanner in the works. I was expecting around 50 million. I would still like to bring a new goalkeeper to the club. We maybe could bring one in and use Jawan as part of the deal. Let's just see what magic we can work in the transfer window, lads. And to make matters worse as well, we've got players like Jawan, Alves and Osula all out of contracts at the end of the season. This is going to eat into our transfer budget massively. It actually could end up being a pretty difficult transfer window. And after renewing the relevant contracts, we're left with just £33 million in the bank. I think this is going to be a really difficult transfer window. So lads, with just £33 million available to us, I really don't think we're going to be able to improve our starting 11. We definitely can improve our bench. And we've gone out into the transfer market, made 3 signings that definitely elevate the level of our bench. So I wrote up a bit of a short list of where are we short on depth in our team. But we didn't even have a backup goalkeeper at the club for a start, which was a bit of a mess. So we have brought Harry Tyra back to the club on a free contract on a 4-year deal. He's 27-year-old, 72 rated. You may remember him from season 1 as he was our first goalkeeper in this rebuild. He's back at the club. Hopefully he'll never have to play, but I think he's a decent backup goalkeeper. We were then crying out for a backup striker, so I once again raided the free agents list and brought Ben Bobzian to the club on a 4-year deal. He's 26-year-old, 75 rated, and I think at 26-year-old and 75 rated, it does still have a little bit of room to grow. And now time for our main signing of season number 6. We brought in a really promising centre-back. Tyler Binden has joined the club for £20 million from Stoke City. He's 24-year-old, 78 rated, looks like a really decent player. He's an excellent backup option to have off the bench, and I think these 3 signings definitely make us stronger. And with those new signings added to our bench, we're looking a lot stronger. No one on the bench is lower than 70 rated. We've actually got some excellent options on the bench like Bloxham, Sulemana, Curry, Binden. They're players who could start for other Premier League teams, but we're not actually looking to sell anyone for cash in this transfer window. Transfer window window, to be honest, is probably done. Now, due to our 6th place finish in the Premier League last season, we are actually in the Europa League this season. My objective for this competition, you know, I don't see why we can't win it. We've got a really good squad. I say we just go for it and try and win it, along with trying to get in the Champions League and the Premier League. I don't think there's anything left we can do other than simulate forward straight through to the end of the season. Let's see how we get on this time with a little bit more depth on our bench. So we have arrived at the end of season number 6, lads, and hey, not been a bad season at all, as we have finished 2nd in the Premier League on 70 points, just 4 points off tabletop in Manchester City, meaning we have got guaranteed Champions League football for season number 7, and we achieved a few more things this season as well, as we have won Blackpool's first FA Cup since 1953, well, they obviously beat Bolton. We have beat Man City 3-1 in the FA Cup final, added an FA Cup trophy to our trophy cabinet, and we will also be adding a Europa League trophy to our cabinet as well, as we beat Mainz 4-2 in the Europa League final. What a season we have had as Blackpool, boss. So this is how the Blackpool team is looking after winning us an FA Cup, qualifying for Champions League and winning us a Europa League. Team is looking amazing now on paper. We've got so many great players, and our decision not to sign anyone for the starting 11 last summer definitely paid off. However, going into season number 7, we definitely need a world-class goalkeeper, lads. Wen is a really good goalkeeper. He's literally growing by 1 overall a season though. We're going to get a huge transfer budget hopefully for qualifying for the Champions League. I'm willing to spend most of it on the new goalkeeper. If we have any remaining money, I may look to replace Oliver Arblaster, as he's 82 rated and 26-year-old. Probably won't get much better. But let's sign a goalkeeper first and see how much money we've got after we've signed a keeper. And our bench is looking good as well, lads. A couple of 80 rated players on there. We're building a really nice squad here at Blackpool. Now, in terms of stats, William Osula was our best player this season, getting 31 goals and 10 assists. But Cordero, Armstrong and Apter all had excellent seasons as well, scoring over 20 goals. We were really prolific in front of goal this season. Hopefully we can carry that into season number 7. So we have arrived in season 7, and this is much more like it. We've got £114 million in the bank. Goalkeeper, top priority. If we have any money remaining, we will bring in new central midfielder as well. So lads, we have been extremely busy in the transfer market, making 2 new signings which significantly improve our starting 11, and we've also let a few players go as well. Kicking off with our first signing of the summer, we brought Mike Penders in from Borussia Dortmund for £52 million. He's 85 rated, 24-year-old goalkeeper, 6'7" with amazing stats, a huge upgrade on Jowanen, and at 24-year-old he's got a lot of room to grow. Really excited to see how he gets on in a Blackpool shirt. And we went out and made an unbelievable signing in the central midfield position, and we have spent weeks in game trying to work a deal out with the parent club, but we've finally got the deal over the line, as we have signed Job Bellingham from Arsenal for £58 million, a 25% sell on, and Sonny Curry as part of the deal. He is 6'3", 85 rated, can play CDM and cam along with central midfield, 24 years old with amazing stats. He is an unbelievable young midfielder, and he really elevates the ability level of our midfield to the next level. And with Penders and Bellingham added to our squad, we are definitely ready for the Champions League. But lads, we are now left with just £2 million in the bank. I really can't see us signing anyone else in this transfer window. And with Bellingham and Penders headed to the first team, this will be the team that takes us into season number 7 and our first in the Champions League. We have got an excellent squad on paper. The average age of this squad is like 25-year-old, so a really young squad as well. And I really expect a lot of these players to develop loads this season. We could be looking at a team that's got a lot near 90 rated players come the end of the season. And this season, I'm setting my eyes on a Premier League title and getting as far as we can in the Champions League. We've also got a really strong bench as well, lads. So many players above 80 rated. Now our transfer window is officially closed. No one else is going to be leaving the club or joining us in this transfer window. And this season, as we know, we're in the Champions League. Really excited to see how we get on. My initial aim would be to get to the quarterfinals. Let's simulate forward straight through to the end of season number 7, and let's see how the Tangerine army got on. So we have arrived at the end of season number 7, lads, and add a Premier League trophy to that trophy cabinet, as we have won the Premier League, boys, on 82 points. Only losing 2 games all season. Worthy champions. What a season we have had, and it only gets better from here as well, as we would go on to win the Community Shield, boys. We beat Man City 3-1 in the final, but we would unfortunately lose to Barcelona in the UEFA Super Cup 3-1. Now in the FA Cup we did reach the final, but lost to Manchester City 2-1, and we may or may not have had a favourable run to the Champions League final as well, lads, as we actually are in the Champions League final after just 1 season in the Champions League. League. I mean, how often does this happen? Our first attempt at Champions League football and we're straight into the final. Now in the league phase, we were resilient and hard to beat. We finished 12th out of all sides on 14 points. Meaning we would have to play a playoff game, and we were drew to Malmo, who we beat 5-3 over 2 legs. We would then draw Athletic Club in the round of 16, who we beat 4-3 over 2 legs in a really good game. We would then be given Hoffenheim in the quarterfinals, who we bounced 6-0. I know, somewhere in FC25 the gods are smiling down on me. What a favourable run we have had. That would actually continue to the semi-finals as we drew Roma, again a side that I think were much better than, and it showed. We beat them 5-3 over 2 legs, set up a final with PSG. And this is the Blackpool team that has got us to a Champions League final. We have got a 90 rated player in there in Harrison Armstrong, who's been amazing in this rebuild. We've got some seriously good players in this team. Alves 89 rated, Cordero 88 rated. We've got loads of 87 rated players in Apta, Bar, Amas, Osula. This is a very, very strong team. We've got a very, very strong bench. So many options on there to help influence a game. I am really, really confident heading into this Champions League final against PSG. My only concern is that our team is a little bit tired. Now in terms of stats, William Osula has been absolutely incredible in this rebuild. He got 42 goals and 4 assists. Harrison Armstrong, Rob Apter, Joe Bellingham all had excellent seasons, especially Harrison Armstrong. I'm really confident going into this Champions League final, our players are going to perform. So let's get to the Champions League final and get this trophy won. So it is time for the Champions League final, live from the Stadio di Benfica. PSG versus Blackpool, sporting our famous tangerine and white kit. Come on boys, let's get this job done. A little bit nervous because I know PSG are going to have probably a better squad than us, but I just feel like with the form our players have been in this season, we potentially could be the favourites heading into this final. Oh no, Armstrong has been our best player this season. Oh, we're in trouble here. We're in trouble. Quenda.
Nope.
Oh, big save by Penders. That's why we signed him. And it's left Quenda injured, and if he's actually injured, that's going to really benefit us. He's been their best player by far so far. But Apter, this is an insane run by Rob Apter. Osula. Oh, it's great defending by Gomez. And Quenda's going to have to come off, lads, and this could be a key moment. In the opening half an hour, he has been running the show for PSG, and he's going to have to be replaced, and this is a big moment, because I feel like PSG's biggest goal threat was Quenda in the early game, and Jadon Sancho's on in his place. Good tackle, right. It's our first real chance to get at PSG. Osula, Apter could be in. Apter could be in. It's a big chance. This has to go in. We've been so on the back foot. Apter, it's 1-0 to Blackpool in the Champions League final. Our first shot of the game in the 40th minute, and it's the man who's been here from day one, Rob Apter, fires us into the lead. What a time to score it as well on the brink of half-time. Lads, the half-time whistle is about to blow any second. 1-0 up at half-time. PSG the better side undeniably, but we've taken our only chance of the game. Let's just hold on and get this trophy to Blackpool. Good. Antonio Cordero can run, and he is fast as well, boys. There's no one in the box. I'm going to try and put it across to Apter. It's going to be 2-0. Oh my god, that's such a big chance. Oh, no, 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 no. That had to go in. That is a big miss from Rob Apter. You wouldn't expect him to miss that. He did so well on the wing as well. That would have wrapped the game up. I'm really sure of it. Going to make a few changes, lads. Just going to freshen the team up a little bit. As you can see, Alves, Osula and Fort are all absolutely knackered. I'm going to bring Tyler Binden on in the right-back position. I'm going to put Tom Bloxham at attacking midfield. And I feel like I've got no other choice but to bring Bobzian on. So we are going to be significantly weaker going into the last 20 minutes. But we've got players who have literally got no stamina. Tyler Binden will help shore us up a little bit as well. I think we have lost a little bit of goal threat now. Cordero, oh, that is brilliant by Cordero. And in is running Bobzian to wrap it up for Blackpool. He doesn't manage to score, but we are into added time. I think the tie is over. Let's bring the ball to the corner flag. Bobzian with the ball in. There's your winner. Costa catches the ball, but there is all she wrote, lads. Blackpool are the champions of Europe. We have beaten PSG 1-0 in the Champions League final. A defensive lapse from PSG and a great finish on Rob Apter, the man who it had from day one. And the Champions League trophy is coming to the seaside. And all that is left to do, lads, is lift the Champions League trophy. Bar will do the honours. The City Academy graduate and Blackpool are the champions of Europe. That is another rebuild successfully boxed off. So I just want to say a massive thank you for watching the video, lads. If you have enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video, and subscribe to the channel, as we're getting very close now to 5,000 subscribers. And I will see you next week when we head to a league that we have never done a video in. Hopefully it should be an interesting one.